I think we've got to start by recognizing that the Bible is unashamedly binary in its approach to gender. It tells us in Genesis 1 that we're made in God's image and that he made us male and female, and that gender should be linked to biology, that we are what our genes and our hormones and anatomical structures tell us that we are. So that's our starting point. But also to recognize that we live in a fallen world, so that we should not be surprised by intersex conditions or conditions like gender dysphoria as well, where people might be biologically one sex but believe they're very strongly the other or feel like that. Our approach should be one of compassion to those who are wrestling with dissonance with dissonance over this issue, where they believe that they're the opposite gender to what the biology says that they are, because these can be incredibly difficult things to deal with. So we have to have understanding and recognize the pain and suffering that is often involved and approach people compassionately. But then I think also we need to be very well thought through and be aware of the dangers of transgender ideology, which is the idea that gender is something completely independent of biology and is in fact just a social construct, something that people make up and choose in a sense. And we need to know our medical facts, and along with that, the dangers of rushing in where angels fear to tread with radical treatments like puberty blockers, hormone treatments, surgical interventions, for which there is no real evidence that they work or ultimately in the long term improve the situation. But these are debates that Christians should not be shying away from. We need to be thinking about them biblically, we need to be thinking about them medically, and really to know our facts, because ultimately the threat is that there are some very vulnerable people, particularly women and children, who could be exploited and abused and taken down a path which is going to be very damaging for them. And I think this is why that in response to the gender revolution that we're seeing around the world now, there is now a lot of pushback and opposition, not just from Christians, but from feminist groups, from LGBT groups, from psychologists, from doctors, from politicians, and so on, who are really concerned that the pendulum has swung far too far on this one.